When women go to their medical doctor to have them resolve their hormone issues, their hormone imbalance, for instance, they are usually offered the opportunity to go on three things. When women go to their medical doctor to have them resolve their hormone issues, their hormone imbalance, for instance, they are usually offered the opportunity to go on three things. Number one, estrogen alone. We call it estrogen replacement therapy. Number two, HRT, hormone replacement therapy, which involves estrogen but a synthetic progestin, and birth control pills. I want to talk about all three of these and why they have become dangerous and why we as women really don't want to have to consider the synthetic options. I think that the idea of introducing synthetic hormones into our body when our body really only produces natural hormones is not going to be a good idea. Let's talk about the birth control pill first. All birth control pills contain identical hormones and similar hormones to HRT. Now that might come as a surprise. Here's the thing, they are stronger in the birth control pill than they were in HRT. And even the mildest birth control pill that's being marketed today, it's stronger than what women used to resolve their hormone imbalances with HRT. Here's the point, though, that's important. All birth control pills have absolutely no therapeutic benefit, and they weren't made for a therapy. What are the risks for the birth control pill? Well, certainly the risk for stroke, the risk for depression, a risk for developing migraine headaches, and ultimately the risk for breast cancer. Dr. John Lee, in his book, What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Breast Cancer, said that if a woman under the age of 18 uses birth control pills, her risk for breast cancer is 600% increase. Like, wow, why would we ever want our young girls to be using birth control pills before the age of 18? I think it's important to understand, too, that HRT involves Premarin Provera, which are the similar hormones to what's in the pill. Premarin is the synthetic form of estrogen. It was originally made from horse's urine, horse's estrogen. It's 8 times too potent and is never found in our body. Provera, the complementing what they call progesterone, it's a progestin synthetic, has 150 listed side effects in the body. And ladies and gentlemen, it is not progesterone. And that's important to note. These are synthetic hormones that have never been produced in our body. How do we know that they're not good? Well, there was a study done. The Women's Health Initiative study. You can go online and look at it. The Women's Health Initiative study on HRT. They studied 16,608 women. Do you know this is still considered a gold standard study because it meets all the criteria that really doctors are focused on. Gold standard study, double blind, controlled study. These 16,608 healthy women, healthy is the key word to look in there, were given HRT. The study had to stop 2 years earlier because the risks outweighed the benefits. They couldn't take that study to 5 years because the women began to develop risks. Well, what kind of results were produced? A 41% increase in stroke, a 29% increase in heart attacks. Now listen, they were giving HRT to women who didn't have hormonal challenges to make sure that they had a lower risk for heart attacks. And here, the drug that they were giving us increased our risk for heart attack by 29%. A 213% increased risk in blood clots. Amazing. so that women who went on HRT were developing a huge risk for generally heart disease that included strokes, heart attacks, and blood clots. Now, these were the same women taking the drug to reduce the risk for heart disease and heart attacks. The icing on the cake was the 26% increase in breast cancer. And again, they had no idea that this was going to happen. When the study was brought out, the next day, doctors were taking women off the hormone replacement therapy. So what happens to a woman who's been getting a huge amount of estrogen and synthetic progestins, which don't protect our body at all? Real progesterone protects our body from estrogen excess, but synthetic progestins don't. So what happened to those women? Well, they developed hot flashes and night sweats. They started to, because they were taking cold turkey off these drugs, and they started to have tremendous side effects and symptoms. I want women out there to know that the risk for stroke and heart attack and blood clots and breast cancer are serious risks. Hot flashes have never killed anyone. And so what I started to do with women who were being taken off these drugs is I started to put together with Dr. Lee a program that would help women do the transition from drug therapy to natural therapy. And that's a program that we still use today. We modulate estrogen levels, we stop the hot flashes, we cause a reduction in weight gain, and the risk for stroke and heart attack and blood clots and breast cancer goes away. No risk when your hormones are in balance. We do this through a couple of things. Number one, we're going to test hormones with a saliva test. It's the most accurate way to evaluate hormones, and every woman on the continent can test her own hormones today. It's relatively inexpensive, and it's appropriate for every age of woman to test her own hormones. Number two, it's an easy test to do, and will help with the understanding and point women in the direction of the next step. That's very important. Actually motivating us to do something so that we don't and aren't motivated to go on synthetic hormone replacement therapies, including the birth control pill. I believe that those are harmful to women, that synthetic hormones harm a woman's health. They don't make a woman healthier. And so I think it's very important for women to understand there's something that you can do about this.